When LEGO superheroes made a comeback in 2012, LEGO released tons of brand new DC and Marvel sets, most notably with the release of the first Avengers movie as a part of the booming MCU at the time. LEGO launched a bunch of new sets, creating characters, vehicles and locations they had never before tackled. These sets were met with a ton of praise, and ever since, this theme has been extremely successful, as now 12 years later it is still continuing to this day. However, as many LEGO fans have noticed, LEGO Marvel as a theme has continued to decline now for a number of years, and in this video I'll be discussing all three main problems with the theme, where they stem from, and how the LEGO group could potentially go about fixing them and creating better products overall. What's up LEGO fans, it's LEGO Man Cam, and let's take a look at our first issue with the theme, and this is the minifigures and characters that we've been getting. First, Marvel Comics as a franchise has literally thousands of characters, and I'm not joking. Take a look at things like the LEGO Marvel video games. You can find hundreds of different characters, mainly stemming from the Avengers or the X-Men, and then both of their leagues of villains. Initially, LEGO was doing a really great job with this. Obviously, we first had sets based on the Avengers movie, so we got the main 6 characters, being Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, plus the main villain Loki and his Chitauri army. At the same time in 2012 though, LEGO also released an X-Men set featuring Deadpool, Wolverine and Magneto, and a Spider-Man set with Doc Ock and Iron Fist in it too. Continuing through to 2013, where we got even more comic-based minifigures, with one Daily Bugle set including Beetle, Nova, Doctor Doom and J. Jonah Jameson, or even this 2014 set with a Big Fig, Green Goblin, Mary Jane and Power Man. Or what about this 2016 Avengers Space Mission set, including Thanos for the first time, Captain Marvel, Hyperion, and then both a new suit for Iron Man and Captain America in space outfits. For a while there, we were getting some stellar LEGO Marvel characters, continuing in 2017 with figures like Red Hulk, She-Hulk, and Red She-Hulk, as well as characters like Miss Marvel and Super Adaptoid. But somewhere between the late 2010s and early 2020s, something changed. While we were still getting MCU-based sets and minifigures, such as the Great Thor Ragnarok sets, featuring Valkyrie, Hela, and Gladiator Hulk, the number of comic-based sets diminished, and more importantly, the number of new characters. Fast forward to a year like 2023, where of all the non-MCU LEGO Marvel sets, we saw one new character as a minifigure. Yes, literally one. Now yes, this was the greatest character of all time, as it was Morbius, but it was a far cry from the previous year, where we'd have something like $20 sets that gave us sometimes up to 3 brand new characters altogether. Now you might be thinking, maybe LEGO have just exhausted all of the Marvel characters that there are, and therefore they are reusing existing characters. Firstly, no, that's not the case. There are so many more Marvel characters out there. Even just looking at villains alone, you have Apocalypse, Galactus, Bullseye, Kingpin, Juggernaut, Mystique, Kang the freaking Conqueror, and so many more. And secondly to that point, sure, let's say that LEGO had exhausted all possible options for Marvel characters. They had run out. If that were the case, then they are still doing a terrible job at bringing back older characters. I mentioned Doctor Doom, Beetle, and Nova before, all 3 figures from that 2013 Daily Bugle set. Well, not a single one of them has had a re-release still, 11 years later. Or take that Spider-Man Web Warriors Ultimate Bridge Battle set. Firstly, what an insanely long name for a set. Secondly, that set included Scarlet Spider, Scorpion, and Kraven the Hunter. Again, 3 exclusive characters never seen again. And there's something else with those figures, even specifically in that set, that I'm going to bring up a little bit later on in the video. So what I'm saying here is, where has the variety gone in LEGO Marvel? Why does it seem like every single set either has Spider-Man or Venom in it, or is some collection of the Avengers lineup or the Guardians of the Galaxy for the 20th time? Why is it seemingly impossible to get a range of different characters from all across the Marvel universe? Now yes, I will acknowledge that this trend was slightly changed in 2024 and seemingly 2025, and I'll be discussing that in just a moment, But firstly, I want to get on to my next point, which is the LEGO sets themselves. While the sets themselves have never been a strong point for LEGO Marvel, they have certainly hit what I would consider as an all-time low. Let me show you what I mean by looking at every single set that we got in 2023 in rapid succession. We got 3 Spidey and Friends sets, which are all 4+, so we can ignore them. We got the Hoopty, which is actually an interesting build, but retailed for $90, so it's absolutely terrible. We got a mech for Hulk and Rocket and Thanos, again, all 3 repetitive builds. We got a Miles Morales car, a Ghost Rider mech bike, another Hulkbuster, another Quinjet, another buildable Groot, but this one was Venomized, another Gauntlet build with Wolverine's claws, and another helmet with Star-Lord's helmet. We got this tiny Guardians set. We got Baby Rocket's little spaceship, which is still not selling here in Australia at like 80% off. We got the new Guardians ship, which is actually pretty cool. We got 3 buildable characters, which are all pretty terrible. A bike 2-pack. We got the No Way Home set, which is really nice. The most boring build of all time with Cap's shield. We got another 4+ set. We got this Tower of Junk. We got an advent calendar, and then the absolutely incredible Avengers Tower. Now, by my calculations, that is 3 out of 27 sets that weren't either repeats, overpriced, or just bad in general. Let's compare this to a random year, let's say 2016. We got Black Panther and his jet for the first time. We got Red Skull's submarine. We got the Avenjet. We got Crossbones' truck. We got the airport set with Giant Man, which has a terrible Quinjet, but the Giant Man is actually pretty cool. We got a giant bridge battle. We got Ghost Rider and his bike for the first time. We got Doc Ock's giant tentacle machine. We got the Sanctum Sanctorum as a playset. And we got 3 Mighty Micro sets, which obviously aren't great. And then the Tanker Truck Takedown. That's 9 good sets out of 13, without even including the airport battle since the Quinjet was pretty bad. This shows us that we got literally double the number of sets in 2023 with 27 sets compared to 13 in 2016. However, 2016 had 3 times the number of sets that weren't repeats or overpriced or just bad in general. So what I'm trying to say here is it's not just the uniqueness and difference in minifigures that has completely stopped, but it's also the sets themselves. I mean, take a look at the brand new Civil War airport battle coming out in January of 2025. To me, this is a far cry from the 2016 set. The Quinjet is even smaller in the new one. The airport is more built as just ground rather than the actual airport control tower, and the Ant-Man is just abhorrent. The Ant-Man is, again, literally just a replica as the one from the 2023 Quantumania set, and the old one looks way better in my opinion because it's actually depicting what a giant LEGO Ant-Man minifigure would look like. Let's also link this back to the minifigures that are in the set, being where is Ant-Man himself as a minifigure? The last time we got one was in 2019 with the Quantum suit on, and before that was 2018 and 2015. Both figures are over $20 on the aftermarket today, so we definitely need a redo. I'm also thinking, why not include something fresh or new for the build, like the airport stair cars that you can see all throughout the background of the scene. But the main problem with the set isn't even the minifigure choice or the set build, but it's actually the minifigure quality, which is the next point that I'm going to be bringing up. Also, if you have seen a few of my videos and do enjoy them, please consider subscribing to help us reach 20,000. It is the #1 thing you can do to help a small and new channel grow. About 10 years ago, LEGO began to introduce new detail to their minifigures, being arm printing, side leg printing, dual molded arms, and dual molded legs, adding never before seen detail to their minifigures on a much more accessible scale. Having figures with this detail appear in the collectible minifigure series, which could be bought for, I want to say it was either $3 or $4 back then, and even minifigures in sets got a lot of that new detail too. One of the first appearances is in this 2015 set, Rhino and Sandman's supervillain team up, where we got Spider-Man with accurately depicted red boots, being created with dual molded legs, or even in 2016 with that Web Warriors Bridge battle set, where we got an amazing Green Goblin minifigure with dual molded legs and some beautifully printed arms, as well as Scarlet Spider with a printed wristwatch on his arm too. Or even in a smaller $20 set, we got Hobgoblin, another character that we've still not seen since 2016, but with dual molded legs in both dark blue and orange, which I believe is an exclusive combination still to this day. But I can even keep going here with maybe Spider-Man, again in the Tanker Truck Takedown. Being the first appearance of MCU Spider-Man, he had printed arms, dual molded legs, and even printing on those legs as well. Now, I'm not going to sit here and completely praise the old sets though, as there were some notable problems. Take for example the Spider-Man in that bridge battle set. Where did his dual molded legs go? They just completely disappeared. The set is even more expensive than the Rhino and Sandman set, so shouldn't they be included here too? But the larger point that I am getting at here is how a number of these minifigures, and a number of whom are still exclusive characters to these older sets, all got some seriously good levels of detail compared to what we get now. Re-looking at that brand new airport battle set, these minifigures are missing so much detail, just like so much. Starting with Black Widow, where's the arm printing gone? We've been getting her over the past few years, and all of a sudden that arm print is just completely disappeared. Also, her, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier are all using the same generic leg piece. And speaking of Falcon, why is he not using that incredible wing piece that LEGO made for the CMF series a few years back? Or even for Bucky, where did his metallic arm print go? They literally had it 8 years ago in the original Civil War sets, but now it's just gone for some reason. They did it in the CMF, why not here? And Scarlet Witch. Oh my goodness, the constant removal of the waistcape piece is just insane to me, and the hairpiece feels totally wrong too. Spider-Man is probably the best minifigure in the set though, however once again, I doubt that red printing on the arms will actually match the color of the rest of the red on the minifigure, and he has dual molded legs too, which is good, but there's no print on them. A downgrade again from previous versions. Black Panther and Iron Man are fine, I guess. There's no real upgrade in them, but then even looking at Captain America, why does he not have dual molded legs either? They gave us dual molded legs on the zombified version from the Disney Plus CMF, but they're just missing here again. Therefore, out of the 8 minifigures from this set, 6 of them are genuinely downgrades, and 2 of them are just equal with their predecessors. I just don't quite understand it. We're supposed to be evolving forwards, not backwards. So after saying all of that, there are some outliers here, and these are really notable outliers that do go against what I have been saying. Firstly, the 2 CMF series that we've had, both of these being beautiful sets of incredible minifigures with 24 amazing looking figs with all the detail that you could want. I mean, take a look at She-Hulk here, for example. What a stunning minifigure. LEGO has the ability to create these stellar minifigures, but their budgeting is just not allowing for it. With my first point of a limited selection of characters, there are Marvel sets now that are going against this theme by including a number of brand new characters. However, these sets all have something concerning in common. Starting with the 2021 Daily Bugle, that's a set with a bunch of brand new characters. We got Firestar, Blade, Black Cat, Punisher, and Daredevil all for the first time. Or the Sanctum Sanctorum with Sinister Strange, Dead Strange, and Karl Mordo. Or even the brand new 2024 release X-Men Mansion with Gambit, Iceman, Jean Grey, Professor X, and Bishop. They are all really great sets with even greater minifigures. But do you see the similarities with these 3 sets? They are all really expensive direct-to-consumer LEGO exclusives, just leading for all of these minifigures to become super expensive online. So what I'm getting at here is, where have all these new and unique figures gone from the smaller sets? Well, even after spouting all this negativity for this past little while, I am a little bit hopeful for the future, and let's quickly get started with the 2024 LEGO Marvel sets. Starting with the unique minifigure problem, we got Venomized Doc Ock and Venomized Green Goblin, which aren't anything spectacular, but they are slightly different. We got a new War Machine in a cheap mech, and then also Ronan made his first reappearance since the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie in the Rockets Warbird set, which is great. We saw the X-Jet with Magneto and Cyclops for the first time in a while, and our first ever Rogue. And then in December, we got the Red Hulk battle set with Sabra and Joaquin Torres as Phoenix 2, as well as the previously mentioned X-Men Mansion. However, when we look back at the actual sets themselves, again, these are just more mechs, jets, and cars, and they are significantly overpriced, with the X-Jet and the Red Hulk set being 2 of LEGO's most egregiously overpriced sets of all time. 2025 though seems to be getting off on a better foot in the character selection problem, getting new figures for Anti-Venom, Ultron, Sydney Sweeney, The Spot, Officer Davis, and Red Hulk 2. However, the quality of the figures and the set builds themselves are still not great, with the outliers here being Sydney Sweeney, who looks pretty great, and the build for the Spider-Verse set is kind of good too, but not worth $50 at all. So things do look like they can change. There is some potential here, but there seriously needs to be some more work done. But this then raises the question of why? Why are LEGO not including the best versions of their minifigures in sets, and why are the sets that we're getting so repetitive and lackluster? Firstly, looking at the minifigure problem, this stems from LEGO's budget. Each set, or more holistically, each theme, has a dedicated number of new minifigures and prints that it can create each year, and it seems that that number has drastically been lowered for LEGO Marvel over the past few years, or LEGO just doesn't want to make more. Obviously, characters such as Iron Man and Spider-Man are going to sell better than the complete unknowns like Anti-Venom or Iron Lad. But why have they stopped including these smaller characters alongside the bigger names? For kids who are just getting into LEGO for the first time, they need to be able to get an Iron Man and a Spider-Man, so we do always need one of those figures available in a cheap set on shelves at all times of the year. But do we really need 3 of these 7 sets revealed from 2025 to include both Iron Man and Spider-Man? Surely just the mechs will do. Another factor that I think is contributing to the weaker set builds and minifigures in LEGO Marvel is the lack of MCU-based sets over the past few years. While yes, the MCU has not been in a good way recently, especially with a lot of poorer movies and of course films with new characters, LEGO has also seemingly neglected most of these new movies. Looking at Phase 5 of the MCU, we got 1 buildable character for Ant-Man, 3 sets for Guardians, 1 set for Marvels, none for Deadpool and Wolverine, 3 for Brave New World, but 1 is Brickheads and another buildable character, and apparently none for Thunderbolts next year. Now the reason I believe they are doing this is because the Phase 4 sets that they did make, as well as those Guardians 3 sets, sold absolutely horribly, especially here in Australia where I'm from. I managed to buy all of the Eternal sets for more than 80% off, and even the new Guardians ship, a set that was meant to retire at the end of last year I believe, is still being sold here for more than 60% off and is not moving. And I even got Baby Rocket's ship for literally like 80% off, it was like $8. And then the Black Panther 2 sets also followed this same trajectory, being hit with clearance tags all over. Now these sets also weren't particularly good, and they also felt a little bit half-baked. Take the Shang-Chi sets for example, those minifigures are pretty awful, and the builds for the Escape from the Ten Rings set is even worse. Out of all the beautiful scenes from the end of the Shang-Chi movie, or even the tram chase scene, why did they end up making this? It seems like the choice of set and minifigures are being made really far in advance with limited material, and the sets are just kind of being churned out. Take Ant-Man Quantumania for example. Where was Kang? Or what about Cassie Lang? How standout would a set have been, including those two, with Scott and Hope, or even throw in some of those weird creatures that we saw in the film, rather than just a buildable character. Take a set like the No Way Home Statue of Liberty diorama. That is undoubtedly a great set. It still has low quality minifigures for the most part, but the character choices are really great. And what I'm saying here is perhaps LEGO needs to wait some time until the movie has come out to make more accurate sets and minifigures. But that then raises the question of, is it actually entirely LEGO's fault? Or are Marvel and Disney giving them the correct information to make toys to the best of their ability? Unfortunately, I don't have the answer for that. But what I do know is that LEGO's seemingly strict budget for the Marvel theme, whereas themes like Dreams get allocated a ton of money, is making the sets, characters, and minifigures suffer altogether. With that being said though, I hope you've enjoyed this discussion video, analysing how the diversity of LEGO Marvel characters has diminished, the individual quality of its sets too, and the quality of its minifigures. Strict budgeting and poor choices are leading to a declining product in my opinion, and I hope the rest of 2025 and 2026 can bring us so much better, as there are some positive signs ahead. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to help a small channel reach 20k, and I will see you in the next one.